Welcome, everyone. I'm excited to be here with you. We're here to talk about macroeconomics. At the end of this talk, my hope is that you'll have a greater love for the economy. My name is Bruce Kerber. I'm the author and originator of the Divine Economy Models and the Divine Economy Theory. I'm an economist in the classical liberalism tradition. Today, we're going to consider the following statement on a screen share. Private property ownership is vital to the market. The economic calculation needed to realize profits, which pay the wages and factor incomes, depend on it. As decisions are made in the market between consumer goods and higher order goods, a bridge forms between the present and the future. This bridging of the present and the future in the form of capital structure potentially leads to economic development. Today's example is about consumer goods and higher order goods. Maxwell spent a decade mastering his craft, navigating the intricate world of software development and carefully saving his earnings. He had seen it all, the pitfalls of poor planning, the agony of bad code, and the triumph of a well-executed software as a service product. Finally, with enough experience and capital, he took the leap and started his own business-to-business software as a service firm right from the comfort of his home. The sweet irony of independence, where you trade in your stable job for 80-hour work weeks and the thrill of juggling software updates, client calls, and the occasional existential crisis. But Maxwell was no fool. He kept his day job for a steady cash flow, proving that even bold entrepreneurs know the value of a safety net. Of course, success begets complexity. His business-to-business model started morphing as clients demanded consumer-facing features. Before he knew it, Maxwell, who once prized the simplicity of business-to-business efficiency, found himself knee-deep in consumer service requests. And so the next ironic twist, to maintain control of his dream business, he had to start delegating. Expansion meant an office lease, hiring employees, and ironically, turning his once lean and nimble startup into something resembling the very structured companies he had worked for in the past. But Maxwell wasn't worried. The demand for his services was strong, and the adventure of entrepreneurship, filled with its paradoxes and unexpected turns, was just getting started. Private property ownership is vital to the market. The economic calculation needed to realize profits, which pay the wages and factor incomes, depends on it. As decisions are made in the market between the consumer goods and higher order goods, a bridge forms between the present and the future. This bridging of the present and the future in the form of capital structure potentially leads to economic development. What does bridging the present and the future look like? Rita grew up straddling two worlds, Catholicism from her father and Islam from her mother. While some might have seen a battleground of beliefs, she saw a landscape of harmony. Despite her dual upbringing, she gravitated towards her mother's faith, embracing its traditions, even wearing a headscarf to school. While some of her peers questioned her choice, most were drawn to her warmth and confidence. Ironically, it was this very contrast, this awareness of past, present, and future, that shaped her into an entrepreneur in the making. While others her age chased fleeting trends and instant gratification, Rita quietly saved her money. She wasn't in a rush. Ironically, in a world obsessed with speed, she understood that patience was the key to real success. She observed, she learned, and she waited. Not for the right moment dictated by market analysts, but for the one that resonated with her vision. And yet, here was another irony. An independent-minded entrepreneur who fully intended to rely on her family when the time came. Some might call it contradiction. She called it wisdom. After all, wasn't business, like faith, built on trust, relationships, and strength of community? So while the world rushed ahead, chasing the next best thing, Rita stood firm, knowing that when the moment arrived, she wouldn't just follow a trend, she would shape the future itself. What can we learn from this life lesson? Dreams come true, but only when they belong to someone. Funny, isn't it? We talk about dreams as though they float freely, waiting for anyone to claim them. But in reality, dreams originate from individuals, people with identity, vision, and the will to make them real. And what is the first step in making a dream real? Ownership. Owning one's ideas, one's path, and inevitably one's property. Ownership is more than possession. It is the bridge between imagination and reality. We shape the world through what we claim as ours, extending our will into the material realm. Yet despite this, its fundamental role in human existence, some dismiss ownership as selfish, as though the very force that enables creativity, productivity, and progress is somehow a flaw. Ironically, even those who reject the idea of property rely on it. They use tools, they live in homes, and advocate their beliefs, all through resources that someone owns. Property is not just about material wealth. It is about dominion, sovereignty, and justice. It is the mechanism by which humans measure, calculate, and build civilizations. And so, the grand irony, the same people who dream of a better world must acknowledge that without ownership, without the ability to claim and create, it is impossible to build anything at all. Dreams, after all, are just visions until someone takes ownership and turns them into reality. I hope you'll subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll see you next time.